Hello, I'm Mary Fletcher. I studied art at Nottingham University for my BA and in London to become an art teacher, then later at Sheffield to become an art therapist, and then MA in Falmouth 2006 in contemporary visual art. I've been an artist all my life. And why am I an artist? I suppose it is a compulsion and it's a therapeutic help. It's an addiction, yes. I haven't been able to make my living at it. I've worked as an art teacher, piano teacher, an art therapist. I was lucky enough to marry Peter Pry, who approved of me being an artist and enabled me to devote myself more to it. But he died 8 years ago. I'm continuing, however, to be an artist and express whatever's going on in my life, whatever interests me, which changes over the years, and I use any media that comes to hand that seems suitable. How do I make my work? Sometimes I make it from imagination. I just sit down and draw from memory and imagination. Other times I observe carefully. I may use photographs or film for information. I may use collage materials. And some pictures are done quickly and others take a long time. I've used ceramics as well. I've used installation. And I'm a feminist, left-wing, socialist, an atheist, a humanist, and now an older person. How would I categorise my art? Well, some of it is autobiographical, like Tracy Emin. Some of it is joyful expression or other expression like tragic sorrow. So it's all comes from my feeling about what is important to me at that time. I'd like to become more well known. I'd like my art to be treasured and bought and kept, not thrown in a skip by my family when I die. I'd like to get on with the book about it so as to try and save it for posterity, at least in the images, which at the moment you can find on Axis Web or on Vimeo under my name, Mary Fletcher. I do want people to understand my work. I think it's very strange that some artists just don't care whether anyone gets what they want them to get from it. I really want you to be able to understand what I was getting at. And I like it when people tell me their reactions so that I can find that out. Sometimes you find that people who aren't used to reading images just don't see what you saw in it, and then you can make changes to make it more apparent and more powerful, I hope. I'm always seeking to improve. I like to draw probably every day from observation something. I'm often thinking about art. I'm unusual as an artist in a way in that I do take a great interest in other people's art, and I write reviews of exhibitions, and I write for a magazine called the New Art Examiner. I used to get my reviews into the St Ives Times and Echo regularly before it sadly went out of production. I feel understood and appreciated by a few people. There are friends who have supported my work over many years in small ways, but it's a big thing to have them always interested to see new work. Maybe only buying a card now and then, but it's very important to me to have some connection with the audience, and I like being on duty during an exhibition to find out the audience reaction. On the other hand, I wouldn't mind having an art dealer that would sell my work, but I haven't really the slightest clue of how to progress in the art world, which is such a mad thing with just a few artists at the top whose work sells for a lot of money, and then masses of people now able to do some work as artists and show it. It's just a crazy thing. Oh, my favourite artists. Well, I've already mentioned Bonnard, who my art teacher kindly said he painted like me, when I think it would have been better to say the other way around. Not that I do paint like Bonnard, but I love his painting, and Degas, and that is the way you say it, and just for the subtlety of observation and the fantastic colour and composition. And then I like other artists whose work is political. I'll have to think of their names, look them up. There aren't enough of them. There aren't enough artists prepared to put some political input into their work. The work of mine that I think is the best, well, it's Morning Walk is a film I made after my partner of 2 years, when I was 21. He was 19. He was murdered by two strangers for no reason. So that was a dreadful tragedy, and it took me 30 years to finish making that film. I finished it on the Falmouth MA course, and there also I did work about being infertile, piece of work called Calendar of Misconceptions, which was a lot of stones from the beach which were made of quartz on a dark red felt background, placed on the floor, which expressed the sort of ongoing problem and heavy burden of not being able to get pregnant, which my husband, Pedro Pryor, would have loved to have children. He would have been a lovely father, but it didn't work out. Then I did work in response to his death. He died from the effects of docetaxel given him to stop or delay prostate cancer, but his lungs reacted to it badly and he died after 3 weeks in intensive care. A lot of my work has been joyful. I think some of my work, where I've drawn dancers in the dark during a performance, and then later I select the best drawings, I make a composition, I make my own performance on the canvas. some of that has been good, and in response to bands, because music is very important in my life. And in recent years, I was lucky to be playing with a little group in the Morab Gardens in Penzance called the Morab Syncopators, and we played the American Songbook and early jazz, and that was absolutely great to be in that group. What am I working on now? What does being an artist do for me? I mean, it gives me a constant interest and a drive to do something, a feeling that I am making meaning out of my life and putting it out into the world to reach other people. At the moment, I'm just doing some little paintings of ordinary life around here. Things like seeing a greyhound in a raincoat, a girl scooting past my window at night, people on the beach. So it goes on. I don't really worry about it. I just do whatever comes to mind. And I'll go on doing it, I hope, until the end. That's all.